So yeah, hello guys. This is going to be my pet and mount guide. I'm just going to record this on stream and I'm going to upload this on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. And basically in this video, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about the pet and mount system in Bless Online. I'll show you how to tame monsters and how to upgrade them and basically the kind of skills they have. So let's dive right in. Basically, you can see in front of me, I have a Steppe Cougar. And as I said, you can pretty much tame every monster that is in the game, albeit some exceptions. And when you look at a monster, you can see the icon next to them. So basically this one has this little wheel here, and that's why I know this is going to be a mount if I tame it. Now if we take a look, for example, at another pet, which is not here around, I'll show you later. Should have thought of that. But basically, if we look at this in the interface, if they have this little butterfly icon, then they would be a pet. So basically, to tame a mount, you will need scrolls. And these scrolls come in different level tiers. It's either level 15, which you only get from quests, 35 or 45. You can get these scrolls from enchanting, which is a profession. So if we go into the profession window real quick, I can show you. So here in enchanting, we can see here travel companion. It's relatively cheap to craft them. You just buy these papers and potions of bondage, which you can get from any vendor. And these Sailor Moonlight powders you can get by disenchanting blue or green gear that you get in dungeons, or you can also get this from, for example, from doing dailies. Alright, so let's start right in. I'm going to show you the taming process. It's basically you use the scroll on the monster, it will start attacking you, and you need to press spacebar basically every time this little the little cursor is inside the green. And if you do that 4 times by default, then you will tame the monster. You only have around 10 seconds to do this successfully. If you fail, well, if you don't do it fast enough, then the taming will fail and you will lose the taming scroll. Now, if you're taming, there is a special taming event that can happen. I'll tame a couple more throughout this video and see if it happens. But basically, if you tame, you might get a special tame. And that means that the cursor is going to move faster and the zone in which you have to press spacebar is going to be a lot smaller. And if that happens, it's obviously going to be a lot harder to get the mount. But if you succeed, there's a good chance that the mount will either be already at least level 10 or it will have a higher rarity later on. And what that means is, I'm going to show you in a little bit. So I'm just going to tame a couple more mounts and then we'll go into the interface. I just tame one more actually. Okay, no luck with the special tame. It's pretty rare to get that. I didn't really expect it to get that anyway. Alright, so let's dive right into the interface. Basically, you have the interface here. You have ground mounts, you have flying mounts, which you can't really get, honestly. And there's pets. Alright, so we start with ground mounts. Overall, you can have up to 40 mounts. You can increase this. You basically have, under your crafting tab, you have a taming skill. And basically, every time you tame a monster, this will increase. And once you get more, you will have a bigger inventory. So let's look at the mounts themselves. Basically, mounts and pets have a level, experience, and they have stamina, or in this translation, fatigue. Now, basically, if you want to level up your pets, if you want to gain experience for them, they basically gain experience when they use up stamina. For mounts, it is a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I'm going to run around with my mount a little bit, okay, not this one. That was a bad idea because this one's max level. But let's take this one. So if I use up 1 fatigue, there we go. Oh, there we go. So if I use up 1 fatigue, it's also going to gain 1 experience. So the more you use your mount, the more experience it's going to get. And the same can be said for pets, just that here you have them out, and basically while they're out, they just constantly use fatigue and they will gain experience in the meantime. Now, pets come in different rarities, as you can see here already. The same for mounts. They can start as green, go over to blue, go to epic rarity, and then they can go all the way up to legendary. Now, pets and mounts, they all have skills, as you can see here. And basically, when you start, you get a mount, it's green, it won't have any skills. Once you get it to blue rarity, it will start to have 1 skill. If you get it to epic, you can see here, it will have 2 skills. And if you get it all the way to legendary, it will have 3 skills. Now, let's take a quick look at which kind of skills you can actually get. So for pets, these these range from like experience gain, which is really good, so you basically get way more experience when you're fighting, to gaining more gold, more PvP points, more adventure points in dungeons, to getting more attack power, magic resistance and physical resistance, gaining more guild experience for your guild, to even some more, let's say, a little bit more useless ones like moving backwards faster or swimming faster. Also, then the next ones are that you get more experience points when you use crafting or gathering, which are here, or you can craft and gather faster. And the last two are basically that your pet gets more experience and that your pet will automatically loot everything around for you, which can be useful if you're lazy like me. Now, this is true for the first two skills, so for blue and epic. Once your pet is legendary, the third skill, it will be a special one, which are basically like very powerful skills, including, for example, this one. If you take more than 7% of your health at a time, you will get a shield that will will increase your physical and magic armor by 20% for 5 seconds. So something pretty strong. Or for example, here is something that activates, and for 5 seconds you will do 20% more damage. So you can see these legendary pets, they're very hard to get. I can already tell you that. It will take a long time, but they can have very, very strong effects. Now you can see here we're on the change skill tab. So these skills, yes, they can be changed. However, in the Japanese version, the scroll that you need to change, you will basically only get that from the cash shop. You can also get that with a really low chance from specific daily quests. However, when you change it, you will still get a random skill, so you will not be able to choose. Now, one last thing about skills is that all the skills come in different rarities. They come in green, blue, and epic. And it doesn't matter on what rarity your pet is. So, for example, a blue pet could have, in theory, an epic buff if it wanted to. Now, before we go further, let's take a look at the mount skills real quick as well. So for mounts, you have the stuff you would expect. It can move faster, decrease stamina consumption, pretty useful, increase stamina recovery while you're not using it, faster mount time, which is actually pretty cool. So instead of using 2.1 seconds to get your mount out, it can get up to instant actually. Then an active skill for your mount that when you press W twice, you will get a 60% movement speed bonus for 5 seconds. Kind of a skill, a stealth skill that you will not be seen by enemies for, actually monsters will not aggro on you as likely, like 80% reduced, but you will move a little bit slower. Then, for example, here one is that you will have a 50% lower chance to get knocked off your mount. One really useful one, for me at least, for someone who likes to explore a lot, is one that you can climb mountains at a steeper angle. We have one that is actually quite funny. If you get the leap one, especially on the epic one, your mount will jump higher, and it will jump actually really, really high, which is quite funny to see. You probably can find some videos on YouTube for that. Then another one is that you will have increased movement speed while it is night in game. So Bless, it has a night and day cycle. So if you have like a nocturnal mount, it will be very fast. And then the two last ones are that if you take damage on mount, you will get increased movement speed. And the last one, you will get increased experience for using your mount. Or your mount will get increased experience while being used. Alright, now next up, basically, how do you level up your mount? I already mentioned when you use your mount, based on the fatigue or the stamina that you use, you will gain experience. Now there's an extra way. If you don't want to use your mount, it's going to take a long time to do that. There's this enchant button. Now enchanting basically means that you can sacrifice other mounts to level up your mount. And basically what happens, you can see here, it gets a portion of the experience that the other mount gained. So when I put in these level 1 mounts, it gets like a really small amount of experience. If I put in, for example, this level 8 one, it gets a lot more. Now, before we go further with the enchanting, I want to show you one real quick trick that you can do to power level your mounts when you have enough stamina. As I mentioned, when you use stamina on your mount, you gain experience 1-to-1. Now, different skills or different things you do on your mount cost different amounts of fatigue. There's one that costs you 60 fatigue or 60 stamina when you mount your mount. when you use it. This will not gain you experience. So you only want to use your mount when you're really gonna ride along for a lot further. So you don't want to waste too much stamina and not actually gain experience. But the most important one is at the bottom, and that is jumping. So if you jump, you actually use 30 stamina, and you gain the full experience for that. So what you can do is you search for a little mountain, and just like me here, you just run up the mountain and you jump a lot. And that will gain you a lot of experience in a very short time. Of course, it's going to deplete your mount very fast, but you will get all that experience, and then maybe you just cycle through different mounts and you keep leveling them all up one after another, and make use of the stamina. So if you have more than enough stamina on your mount, make sure to just utilize this to power level your mount a little bit. Now, let's get to the next point, and that is grading your mount, your pet up. As you can see here, for example, this one is currently level 10, and it is green, and this one is blue. So every level or every rarity has a maximum potential level. So for example, for green, it is 10, for blue, it is 30, and for epic, it is 45. Now, I don't know exactly what the maximum level for legendary is. I have to admit, I forgot to look that up. Now, once you have the maximum level for a rarity, you can go into this grade up process. And basically, when you grade up a monster, or a pet, or a mount, you basically use another mount to sacrifice it and then have a certain chance to get this grade up. For example, here it is 15%. Now, what is important is that the chance is higher if you use the same kind of mount. So if I have this grassland cougar and I use another grassland cougar, I get an additional 3% chance. For example, if I would go here, no, I can't show you here. Oh no, on this one. So this one's blue already, so the chance is going to be lower. But if I put in another saber-toothed tiger, I have a 10% chance. However, if I put in a cougar, I have a 7% chance. So if you want to do the grade up process, always make sure to have multiple mounts of the same kind so that you have a higher chance. Now, one important thing, and that is why it is quite difficult to actually get legendary mounts, is that your mounts don't have unlimited tries to get to the next tier. So you can see here remaining upgrades 10. That means that I have 10 more tries, and that is also the maximum that you can get on a mount. 10 more tries to get to the next tier. So for example, yeah, that was actually perfect. So for example, this one, he is blue. He is the blue rarity, but I used all of the tries that he had. So now I basically cannot get this mount to the epic rarity anymore. Now there's an exception to this, and that is the next line, that is remaining potential upgrades, 2. And that means, that brings us to the next point here. You can, if you have any points here, that is like, I've only ever seen up to 2. There might be more, there might be 3, but I haven't seen that so far. If you have this here, you can do daily quests on max level, and you get a chance to get one of these items. And basically you can use that item, I don't have it with me right now, to increase the chances again. So you basically, I would have like 2 more chances. But you only really want to use that on mounts where you really want to get that upgrade. So for example, this one, I tried to get this guy to epic rarity. He had 10 chances. I failed 9 times already. So now I could try one more time. I'm not going to do it now. And yeah, I'll have to see if I can get it. If not, then basically this guy is going to be stuck on level 30. And I will have to get like another mount, try again. Maybe if I want another saber-toothed tiger, I would need to tame more saber-toothed tigers. And basically start almost the whole process over. I will of course be able to use this guy as a sacrifice to get a lot of experience on a new one. So if I would put this level 30 guy into this level 10, he would already be level 27. So that's quite a lot of experience. Alright, now stamina recovery. As I said earlier, you can waste a lot of your stamina really quickly on your mount. And if you want to power level them, we're using this method, you can get fatigue recovery items. And these fatigue recovery items, you can craft them with cooking. They're relatively cheap to craft. They come in like 200 fatigue recovery, 400, or 1200. I can show you real quick in crafting because I actually have cooking. So you can craft them here. They just need some gathering materials that are very, very easy to get. Except for the 1200 ones here, you also need the dust that you get from disenchanting gear or doing daily quests. Alright, and that brings us to the last point, and that is sealing pets. So it is actually possible to seal pets and then sell them to other players. So if you get, for example, a legendary mount and you already have one, or you don't actually want it and you want to sell it, that is possible. To get the item to seal a pet, you just need to go to the general vendor, and for blue pet it will cost around 1 silver to buy, for purple one it will cost 10 gold, and for legendary one it will cost 100 gold to seal away the pet. So make sure, if you get like a really good pet, you can sell it to other people and maybe make a good amount of money. And that brings us pretty much to the end of this video. I hope you liked it. If you have any further questions, just put them in the comments. If you're on the YouTube video, I'll just come to my stream. I'm usually online like all day, and just put them in chat there. I'm always happy to answer them, and thank you for watching. Alright, so that's that. I'm just gonna make the cut there later on. Man, that was cringy, but that's